Welcome back to the show, everybody. Well, there's more information coming out about the SEC versus Ripple with these new filings that are happening here. SEC emails suggesting XRP not a security. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook for exclusive content. $953 billion market cap for crypto right now, ladies and gentlemen. 19,100 plus. Ethereum just under $1,300. XRP is 44 cents. And let's get started right now. Here we go. All right. Nick Burafado from Link2 says members have exclusive access to Acorns on Link2 platform. In just a couple of days, we've almost sold out, so we're giving you a heads up in the case you wanted to add it to your portfolio. You can reach out to them. Just go to link2.com. You got to be an accredited investor, and right now it's a $5,000 minimum investment for Acorns. Don't mess around. Click that link underneath the video. Tell them I said come on in. Yeah. Library case. You know, we were supposed to have a judge a couple weeks ago give us a decision, but you cannot make this stuff up, boy. And I mean, you can't make it up, what we're about to see. But starting right here with the library case, and shout out to them for all the patience of Job to be going through what they've gone through and are still going through with a part-time judge who could take as long as he wants to get to a decision. And they've been dealing with the SEC mad at them because they use rocket ship emojis. And it doesn't get any better as we move through the material. But this is an interesting clip here. I personally believe that they already do. We're talking about Starlink, baby, Elon Musk and SpaceX. Listen to this clip right here. It is pretty powerful. And if you know, my speculation is correct that somehow XRP is involved in the satellite Starlink system, I think it is going to be a good thing for the world going forward and certainly the Internet of Value. But I am speculating. But listen to this.
I wanted to ask about situations that we have here in the Rio Grande Valley and in South Texas. The winter freeze, hurricane, big floods, situations where we kind of run out of bandwidth. We start losing cellular connectivity. It affects everyday people. It affects the first responders. So with what you were talking about earlier, is it going to help assist with that situation?
Yeah, I mean, I can jump in. It's one of the big benefits of this is redundancy. And one of the big priorities of our industry, and I know of the FCC who regulates us, is redundancy. And one of the things about starting next year with messaging, as opposed to trying to plunge right into voice and data right away, is that with messaging, we should be able to handle a lot of messages, many, many thousands of messages that can be sent. And so when you do have outages that happen through natural disasters or otherwise, there's an opportunity for people at scale to be connected in real time. And Elon was saying there could be a lag at first, but he's talking about before we reach commercial service, right? So eventually, as we hit commercial service and even beta, this is real-time messaging where you send a message, you get an answer. You know, you're connected. And by limiting it to messaging in the early going, it allows us to address use cases like that, complete redundancy to cellular networks, which are subject to the weather because they're here on planet Earth.
Yeah, but this really is a big deal. It's a great question to ask because, yeah, even if an entire region or country was lost connectivity because of a severe, hurricane or floods or fires or, tornadoes, earthquakes, there's so many natural disasters, obviously, you would actually still have, even if all the cell towers were taken out, your phone would still work.
Thank you.
How about that? Right? How about that? And imagine, all the accessibility with your phone still working, right? He even made a comment the other day about how you could even be on planes once this is all up and fired up, that you would have the same internet speed that you would have on the ground in your home. Now, that is pretty remarkable. Now, this is pretty remarkable, too. The Hinman emails are referenced in brief. It's redacted, but you can tell there was shady poop involved. The Office of GC, General Counsel and Director of Trading Markets involved. Let's just say I and others believed that XRP definitely was referenced in the emails, and you could tell it was. And I kindly say here and politely ask, will somebody let Charles know that it does matter? He blocked me. Before we can have clarity for digital assets, we have to have clarity that our government and agencies work for all the people, not just a select few, Charles. And we can't broad stroke over it. ETHgate is very real, and you're damn right it matters. Understanding that it was referenced and there are things in there that do appear to him, John Deaton and others, that believe definitely XRP was referenced in the emails. You could tell it was. And we share here all of this. The Director of Trading and Markets, Warren Hinman's speech 2018 would calls blank redacted. It's redacted, but it's clearly along the lines of confusion or turmoil. Yet Hinman gave it why. Did he have incentive to ignore the warning? Of course he did, says John D. Oh, it gets deeper. Hinman Mad Libs is what Rather Common calls it. Fill in the blanks. The footnote is the best one, and it really is. Perhaps not everyone in the SEC was pleased with his speech. Then we come down here. I'm going to use this illustration because I tell you, it is quite damning. Now, this is from, just to be clear here, right? This is from Ripple. This is page 48. And when they had submitted their motion, right? When they submitted their defendant's opposition to the plaintiff's motion for summary judgment. So that's where this is coming from, just to be clear, page 48. If you look here, contemporaneous SEC communications suggest that the SEC's own officials were well aware that the speech would lead to blank, as suggested by John Deaton, and deliberately recommended giving the industry participants blank, presumably to give the agency more room to maneuver. The SEC also equivocated as to whether Hinman's speech reflected the official SEC guidance. Down here in the footnotes is where it gets really, really good here. It gives the email number right here. There are reasonable grounds to conclude that XRP does not satisfy all elements of Howey analysis and is therefore not a security. Further down, SEC answers RFA 2019, November 22nd, submission by MoneyGram to SEC detailing proposed accounting treatment for XRP, which did not treat XRP as a security. The SEC did not object to non-security treatment. You know, I said this all the way back when the lawsuit dropped, and I said this about MoneyGram. How can they turn around and sue Ripple over XRP when they themselves, the SEC, approved the MoneyGram Ripple partnership, and all of the disclosure to go along with it is revealed right there. So we were dead on target with all of that. Unbelievable. But this is where we are. And this is what reminds me of what Brad Garlinghouse said about the shamefulness behavior that will shock everyone once we find out, if we find out, and I hope that we do. Bill Belisario says here, legal analyst, people may say, why not engage in serious settlement discussions before releasing the documents to Ripple? This was after Jungle had asked. That was literally the only logical reason I could think of as someone who knows nothing. And I get it. I'm not a lawyer either. That they would do this as a part of going into settlement discussions of some kind. Bill Belisario went on to say, well, if I was a Ripple attorney at this stage, I would not participate in settlement discussions without their disclosure. This was the remaining evidence not disclosed. He goes on to say here, after the filing of the objections to the summary judgment motions with their exhibits, when you settle, you need to give up something. If I was advising Ripple to give up something to settle, I would insist on seeing documents before starting settlement talks. Excuse me. Ripple probably insisted on seeing them, and the SEC said okay, but only on a confidential basis. The timing and handing over of the Hinman speech documents and the confidential basis in which they have been delivered all indicate serious settlement talks are imminent. I wouldn't be surprised if the SEC has reserved the right to appeal if settlement talks fail as a condition for handing them over. Oh, Bill, now that's fire right there. And that's where we are on this Friday. I'm going to let it go right there. Woo-wee, what a week it's been. How about that? Boy, am I glad I had some time off to rest up before all of this came out. Yeah, this is about to get good. And remember, October 24th, we're supposed to get even more information. Head on a swivel. It's crypto you never know. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. But I can tell you it is my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.